Yes, we can.
Fantastic. Good afternoon from a warm, albeit windy, Cape Town, South Africa. My name is Jonathan Bell. I'm from the City of Cape Town Invasive Species Unit. And this is just generally some thoughts on Chapter 1 of my pending MSc study under John Measy at the Center of Excellence for Invasion Biology at Stellenbosch University. It's titled Who Will Let Me In? And it's centered on property access for urban invasions. So a bit of background. We know that urban ecosystems are significant for biodiversity conservation. And there's a common trend for the global human population to reside in urban centers. And we know that these urban centers are known to harbor increasing number of alien species. And these species can have significant negative impacts. And there's a definite need to control and manage alien species, specifically in urban centers. There's a growing consensus that there's need to understand human and social dimensions of invasive species management, especially in urban centers. And according to Shackleton et al. 2020, understanding these human social dimensions are required in order to reduce alien invasive species introductions, improve control interventions, mediate stakeholder management, conflict management, and helping towards increase the scaling up of control interventions, and then better financial and contract management. Where I come from in my background, we're generally looking at trying to improve control interventions. For the last 6 years now, I've worked on 2 eradication and control programs for the City of Cape Town, and control interventions are one of the things we're struggling most with, especially the efficacy and effectiveness of those interventions. So City of Cape Town, just a bit of background to the City of Cape Town. It's a unique biodiversity hotspot. It's one of the floral kingdoms of the world with up to 9,500 different botanical species. It has an unusually high mixture of people and cultural differences. We're facing increasing numbers of invasive species introductions into Cape Town, and the City of Cape Town as a metropole has a specific unit that manages invasive species, and we spend upwards of 36 million rand per annum, which is about $2.4 million per year on invasive species management just within the City of Cape Town. So we know that in order to control invasive species, especially in an urban area, we need access to private properties. For example, work done by McCarthy et al. Modeled that in order to be successful for certain toad eradications or control, you need access to about 95% of the properties within the control area. For the guttural toad control program here in Cape Town, we currently only have access to 19.7% of the properties within the control area, which indicates there's a significant deficit in the number of properties accessed and the number of properties we need to access in order to possibly control or manage the species in Cape Town. So the central question is how do we get residents, landowners, and people to open their doors to help us control invasive species? We're proposing a two-prong approach. The first prong is a semi-structured interview of residents within the City of Cape Town invaded areas. The City of Cape Town invaded areas include that of the guttural toad, which is in Constantia and Bishop's Court, and the polyphagous shothole borer in Somerset West. The semi-structured interview is based on a social science technique called ethnography, where you immerse yourself within key informant interviews and document anecdotal information that's out there, but to try and document it accordingly. The second approach is a fast doorstep questionnaire to determine changes in variables of access. We aim to apply this quick doorstep questionnaire across an urban density gradient within the City of Cape Town, and apply that to a wide range of both plant and animal species that are listed in the National Environmental Management Biodiversity Act. So the semi-structured interviews is qualitative research, and it's designed to use ethnography to chat to residents across a different gradient. The residents, and these residents are those residents who refuse access, residents who initially refuse access but then grant access at a later stage, residents who granted access from the onset, and then residents who initially granted but then refused access at a later stage. You might wonder why we're looking at guttural toad and polyphagous shothole borer. They're both recent invaders to Cape Town. The guttural toad, for example, is very well adapted to urban environments and generally find them in garden ponds and pools. The polyphagous shothole borer is the most recent introduction to Cape Town, but they're found in urban trees. However, both require access for control, so access to private properties in urban environments. A quick doorstep questionnaire is going to help us determine changes in variables of access. So the covariates we're hypothesizing at the moment that the residents consider in allowing access or not allowing access is species. So is it a plant and an animal? Is it charismatic? Is it not charismatic? Agents? Is it a research institution? Is it a government organization? Is it a privately paid contractor who will be conducting the control measures? Timing? Do we conduct the control measures during the day or at night? Legal status? Does the legal status of the species as listed in legislation impact whether or not a resident will provide access or not? Social influence? If the neighbor allows access, would you then allow access? Property ownership? How does this change between owners of properties or residents of properties, those who are renting? And property size and or density classes. We know that in Cape Town we have a varied different property size and density class. And it's primarily as a result of our former apartheid government's town planning regime. This is essentially asking us, it's essentially an access or no access question. So would you provide access? Would you not provide access? The aim here is to deliver 100 to 150 questionnaires across the different property classes and density sizes. From the City of Cape Town's urban densification policy, there are 4 generalized property sizes: urban farms, very low density agriculture, high income low density, middle income medium density, and low income high density, sort of the informal settlements or townships you find in South Africa. We intend to analyze the data through logistics regression, simply asking access, no access, and comparing the covariates against access and no access. The covariates are just our hypotheses at the moment, and we hope that through the semi-structured interview process in the beginning, we can add or remove some of these covariates based on the information supplied by residents in the first part of the study. So there's possible results. We hope to attain insights that can be applied across taxa and landscapes or future invasive species incursions. So what do we do if a new species is observed in Cape Town, and how do we market and apply our management and control measures within that neighborhood or suburb based on its density classification? We can help ascertain how we can better gain access to properties and help ascertain what hinders the access and how we can work around that and work with landowners and residents to get access to private properties within the invaded sites. This is essentially a small invitation to participate. We feel scaling up of the research can be conducted around cities globally, and this possibility of disseminating this questionnaire across cultures and cities around the world, for example, all the GUBIC participating countries. And if you would like to conduct a parallel study in your region, you're more than welcome to. It's also just an invitation to participate in that. And this is initial thinking, draft thinking for chapter 1 of my MSc. So you're more than welcome to provide insight, because many of you have dealt similar types of issues or hindrances to your control programs or management of invasive species within your particular region. So thank you very much for the opportunity to present. Luke for the invite, John Measy at CIB for the runs in the evenings and all the red lines across my proposals. The City of Cape Town, yes, for providing me employment and the opportunity to work on eradication and control plans within the City of Cape Town. Thank you very much.